Fred, when did you start clowning?
Oh, that was years ago, going back years. Back in the 30s, 20s, 30s. So you see, I've got a few years behind me.
That sounds like about a half a century ago.
Well,
even more than that.
Yeah. So it was just something interesting then. And I was doing magic, and I felt I needed something to kind of sell it, because I wasn't, let's face it, a good magician as such. So I thought working with with kids, that I'd add clowning, you know, just to help sell it. So that's how I happened to go into clowning as such.
Now, you didn't think you were a very good magician. Have you changed your opinion of yourself over the years? Are you a good magician now?
No, I wouldn't say I was a good. When you see some of the magicians, you realize there's room for improvement.
I just noticed that there. I don't know why I didn't see that before. It's like a strobe effect.
Okay.
Too much lamp.
What a difference an inch makes.
Okay.
Okay. I know the story of how Mambo came about, but I'm going to ask you one more time again. Originally, Mambo was not on the Dr. Max show, right?
That's correct.
How did it come to be that you got on the show?
As I understand it, Max was on the program alone, and one day someone made a terrific noise in the studio. They dropped something or something, made a terrific noise. Well, Max was on the air at the time, and with that terrific noise, being home alone, he figured, well, he had to explain it. So the thing that came to mind, he turned off camera and said, "Be quiet out there, Mambo." And then he found it was an interesting item to do, to carry on with someone else, you know, have conversation that way. And then the kids wrote in finally, and they wanted to see Mambo. So he called me. We'd done a lot of community theater work and other work together, theater-wise. And he said, if you want to come down to the station, we'll put you on as Mambo for a couple times, and just to satisfy the kids. So when I went down, Frank Miller was a director. And when I mentioned that I had been clowning, he was not quite sure, because white used to burn, what we call burn. And so he wasn't sure whether it would work or not. And besides, they played to older kids up to 12, 15, you know, and he just wasn't sure that a clown would match. But since it was only to be for a couple of times, he said, go ahead. So I tried. The lights, the makeup with the powder on seemed to kill the lights, so it didn't glare or burn. And the makeup was okay. And the 2 or 3 times just sort of kept stretching out until 20 years.
Did you have a name for your clown character before it was Mambo?
No. See, when Max turned off camera, the first thing that came to his mind was Mambo. He doesn't know why, so we just followed through.
But I was wondering if when you clowned before, if you had a name for that character.
Yeah, I had different names.
Oh, just different names.
Different setups, you know, different costumes. From time to time I'd change and I'd take a different name. But when Mambo started, why, then I've kept that constant.
Okay. Dr. Max has been off the air 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How often do you still clown?
This will do your advertising department good. When you stop advertising, things go down the drain. So it's dropped off considerably from the time when we were on advertising ourselves every day.
Do you still want to get out? You want to perform at more places?
Oh, it's interesting. I don't have the urge to be on every day the way we were, but once in a while it's nice to be back in the saddle again.
Earlier this week, you were at Kennedy High School for their drug abuse week.
Yeah, that's correct.
Most of the kids over about 11 remembered who you were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they had been in Cedar Rapids, Marion area, or within our broadcasting range, they would. But there are always new ones coming into town, and it's new to them. They don't know about it.
How does it make you feel that so many kids, and now so many adults who were kids, remember those days?
It's nice. They seem to, they don't, when I'm in out of costume, they don't recognize me as such, but my voice still tends to give me away, they say. I'd recognize that voice anywhere. So it's nice to get back in the saddle once in a while.
How does it feel that you gave so much pleasure to so many people for so many years?
I'm just thankful I was given the opportunity, really. There's nothing like playing to kids, especially children, because they are immediate in their response. You do an adult audience show, they'll sit on their hands, until it's over with. They've been taught, conditioned, programmed to wait until the end and then applaud if they feel like it. But with kids, you get an instant rapport, and that's good. I like that.
You have strong Christian beliefs. I was told that you even teach Bible stories in churches and things.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to be invited to different places, and we try to use what we call gospel magic.
Gospel magic.
Mm-hmm.
And do you do that in costume as Mambo or as yourself?
Occasionally. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they want Mambo, because the kiddies know of it, and other times I'll go as myself.
Okay. You're still pretty healthy these days? Still
for an old man, I think I'm getting around fairly well, yes. I'm very fortunate and thankful that I've been dealt a good hand that way.
Okay. So you just plan to keep on going as long as you can?
As long as I can. As long as anybody will ask,
You'll be there with the grease paint.
With the grease paint on, not the bells on, but the grease paint on.
You're getting some recognition tonight from the PTA.
That's what I understand.
It might be too early to ask you how you feel about being recognized. I might have to ask you after the presentation tonight, but I'll see what kind of answer you might give this afternoon. How do you feel about being recognized for helping the kids and everything you've done over the years?
I think the pleasure is in knowing that the work was appreciated. That the kids enjoyed it, that they liked it, and that's I'd say that's the main joy to me, is that it did bring some happiness, some carefree times to the youngsters.
Now, a year ago, you were on the magazine of the International Brotherhood of Magicians. Your picture, you're a cover boy.
Mm-hmm.
Cover boy at 79 last year.
Some of us don't know when to give up.
How did you feel about being recognized by your fellow magicians?
Well, I'm just glad that they appreciated what I've done, really. I mean, it's not so much for myself as the fact that they enjoyed what I did. And they enjoyed it, and I'm glad that they liked it. That's the main thing.
Okay. You've spent virtually your whole life here in Cedar Rapids, right?
Born and raised in good old Cedar Rapids.
What did you do for your livelihood over the years?
When I left College, that's to get a plug in, I went to Killian Department Store, which is no longer in existence, and I was there for several years. Then I transferred over to the Quaker Oats Company, where I was in the traffic department until I retired.
Okay, so you were with them a good long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now Max, he worked for who?
A Lefebvre printing company.
Okay. So, did you originally get paid to do Mambo on TV? Or was that just for laughs?
No, at first I went on the first few times just to help Max out. And then when I kept staying, Max, I think he paid me $2 a performance. And he paid me out of his pocket for a bit, and then finally the station took over sponsoring my appearance.
And we don't get paid any more than that today.
That shows how times progress.
Any favorite memories of all those years? Or any, like, have you performed before any famous people or met the president or, you know, done anything like that?
Met the president. I ran for president.
You ran for
Well,
president?
Yes, when we were on the program, Max and I ran for president, and Max was my ballyhooer there. He's my PR person, and no, we did that in a way, we didn't want to talk to the kids as though we were in school, you know, but we did like to work things in at an angle that we could still be teaching them. And it happened to be during a presidential year, so I ran for president, and we'd bring out different issues, you know, that we'd run for, had the kids write in what they wanted on their platform. And in various ways, we just tried to bring new ideas to the kids.
Mm-hmm, sure. But the original question, have you performed before anybody really memorable?
Mm.
Vaughn Monroe.
Vaughn Monroe?
Oh, yeah, that's right, Vaughn Monroe.
Where'd you run into him?
And Dubuque.
Oh, in
He was
Dubuque.
on a program.
Oh, I see. See, those two guys at the camera don't even know who Vaughn Monroe was.
That's why I hesitated to talk to this newer audience.
What did I know? Okay. Well, you have a family, right?
Yeah, that's
How many
correct.
kids did you have?
I have 6 youngsters.
6.
The wife had 3 and I had 3 in a miraculous way. And then we have 6 between us.
I see.
I share with her, share and share alike.
Are you a newlywed, or have you all been together for 33 years? Well, you're still a newlywed.
Yeah, but never leaves.
Gee, why don't we cut the camera for a minute, and
I
will.
Thank you.
You wonder why I ask
Thank you. Thank you.
You wonder why I ask you so many questions, because
Oh,
most
that's
of them
okay.
will be
I
on the
know.
cutting room
I
floor.
realize.
Do you think kids today are missing out because there isn't live children's programming like there was?
Yes. However, I don't think kids have changed too much because there is a lot of TV that they're older, a little bit faster than they were years ago. But kids, I don't think, have changed to the point where they're not inquisitive, they're not outgoing, and they're not wonderful that way. Because they're still just as curious as I think we were. Maybe more so. I think TV has opened their eyes to a lot of things that's given them a broader education quicker than we got it when we were kids.
Okay. I got one more question if we got room on there. No.
When you get him, I'll try 2 feet guys.
How would you like to be remembered by all those kids you've entertained over the years?
Just whichever way they're remembering me, and I hope it's in a nice way, you know, that it was a lot of fun, and that Mamba was a old character. Dr. Max was an old character they remember from their youth.
You'll be happy with that.
We'll be happy with that.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you must have been 20s. Let's see,
I went to a show here in town. An elderly gentleman was putting on a magic show. And in the grade schools doing the show, a little girl came up and said, I remember you. I said, what? Said, yeah, I used to live in Marion, Iowa. And then we had another group later.
You did it for that group of black children up there in Eleanor Roosevelt's home in New York State.
Mm-hmm. They
Well,
had a
there's
home
it.
for wayward boys. And some occasions were real funny. There was a little black boy. Yeah, they were. And I had a rabbit. You show a rabbit in a little folder. And say the magic word and he'll change color, and of course he's black and on one side and white on the other. Well, the kids catch you, you know, changing it, and finally you take the plaque out of the folder and hold it there, and say white on one side, black on the back side. You don't want to see the back, do you? And finally, when they coach you enough, you turn around and there's the little back of a bunny. And this little black boy said, "You think he am black?"
What to do or when to yell. It was fun too, son. He's been,
Are you kids spread out all over the country?
Yeah.
his three are. Mine used to be one of them. The two of them stay right here in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, but one's down in Florida and the other's in
Who?
North Carolina.
Oh,
kid.
my grandson, yeah.
Yeah, grandson.
He's in
Down
North
to great
Carolina.
grandchildren.
You know he's 80 years old, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, I do.
Well, not yet.
Well, okay, Mrs. Buxton.
Another month.
Another month?
About 5 weeks.
In March?
Oh, at Main Street, up at Lansing, all the streets come down to one certain spot. They had a great big flatbed there. Max didn't want to go the second time we were supposed to go, so I said, okay, Fred and I will go alone. Well, we did, and it was fun, right?
Between 8 and 8:30, so we'll probably get there about 8.
Would you have any time up, or you're like a minister, huh? On constant call, you guys.